According to the scientific estimates, human body is designed for a lifespan of 120 years. However, it is a matter of common observation that the number of people who cross 100 years across the globe can be counted on fingers. Most of the people live for an average age of 60 to 70 years, though this figure might be slightly higher in some countries like Japan and few other European nations. So we can say that we humans are only living for about 50 to 60% of our available lifespan, and the tendency to become old and depleted after crossing 50 years is very much evident among most of us. In the ancient past, people have lived for longer periods and remained youthful for long. It is said that at the time of the great epic battle Kurukshetra, the age of Lord Krishna was 90 years, yet very active and powerful both physically and mentally. In this video, you will get to know why we humans in the contemporary world are not able to live beyond certain age despite great technological advancements in the field of medicine and healthcare in our modern world. Watch this video if you wish to extend your lifespan naturally and remain youthful for longer period using simple techniques. Aging is a genetically programmed process which we inherit through our DNA. Whether we like it or not, we all start our journey of life as helpless infants and gradually progress into different stages and finally reach old age, after which the body will start depleting and gradually start dying. Although we cannot defy this law or change the process, we can change the pace at which our bodies age. According to the yogic tradition, with the help of certain simple techniques, we can control the pace at which we age and live for the complete lifespan that the nature has bestowed on to man. If you wish to live long and stay youthful for long, you need to understand two most important concepts and practice the techniques given. The first important concept is the concept of entropy. Like gravitational force, entropy is one of the fundamental forces in the universe actually present at all the time. This is the force that dissolves order into disorderness. If the life force provides impetus to the embryo to grow into an infant and then into a baby and gradually into a growing adult, the force of entropy works exactly in the opposite direction, trying to disrupt the force of life. To understand the concept better, let us take an example. Let us say that you bought a brand new car from a showroom and parked it in your garage. And it so happened that you have to go on a long trip to some other country only to come back after 2 years. Unfortunately, these 2 years the new car was left unused and untouched. Just guess what would happen to the car? What would be the condition of the car after you return from your trip? Obviously, the car would show the signs of depletion and deterioration. You can find so many things like the air pressure in the tires would have gone and the tires would have gone flat. And if you try to start the engine, maybe the car engine would not start. It's like that. Means even without touching, the nature has actually started working on the car and the car is slowly deteriorating. And if you allow the car to be like that for few more years, the car will be totally out of condition, like it will not be able to do anything to it. Same is the case with your human bodies. This is the entropic force which is working against the orderliness. Means the nature is trying to pull back whatever has been taken from it and an order is created. This is the force of entropy. So the best thing to counter this entropic force is to work against it. Just imagine if instead of allowing the car to remain idle for 2 years, if the car is put in use into regular use and proper maintenance is given at regular intervals, what would be the lifespan of the car? And if it is maintained properly, maybe it can be used for more than 30 to 40 years. It would be in perfectly working condition. So what made the car to have such a long span? It is because it is working against the entropic forces. So if you are not using it, the entropic force will conquer it, and obviously it will be grounded. So there is one law called the principle. There is one principle called the principle of use or lose. Means anything that is not used will be loosed. Means we have to lose it. So this is the concept that we find in many things. Even in human evolution, we have seen that since we don't require a tail, the tail has gradually disappeared. So anything that is in use will remain long, and in case it is not used, it will be lost. Like that, in the past, many people they had to do a lot of physical work, like they have to work in farms, or they have to go with the animals, or go and hunt for the animals. All these activities required a lot of physical activity. That is how they remain stronger than our contemporary people. Today, in the modern world, our physical activity has greatly reduced. Means our working conditions and our lifestyle has become so sedentary. Like we are not moving, like we are not using our body properly. That is the reason why we are developing so many body disorders, long term chronic disorders such as diabetes or hypertension or heart diseases. It is because the entropic forces are more active on us. So if you want to live long, if you want to remain healthy and youthful for longer period of time, what we need to do is we need to actually counter the entropic forces, and the only way we can counter the entropic force is by actively working. So we should make use of our body properly, like we should give it required amount of exercise so that it will remain fit and trim. So the message is, if you want to live long and remain youthful, you need to do good amount of physical exercises. This is first point. Second point, we can stay without food for few weeks. We can survive without water for few days, but we cannot survive without breathing beyond few minutes. So breathing is the most essential activity in the process of life. This is the only life activity that can be performed consciously and unconsciously, unlike many other life essential activities. According to the yogic tradition, lifespan is not determined by the number of years or the number of days that we live. Rather, it is determined by the number of breath cycles. Inhalation and exhalation constitute one breath cycle. So the total lifespan is equal to X number of breath cycles. Like every living entity has got certain amount of lifespan, and this lifespan would be counted in the total number of breath cycles that we take. So let us take an example. If our respiration rate is 30 breaths per minute, it would be 1800 breaths per hour. That means every hour we will be breathing 1800 times, like inhalation and exhalation. And in a day would be breathing around 43,200 breaths. Okay, let us just take this as an example. Let us assume that a person is destined to live for a lifespan of 43,200 breaths. So the person will live only for one day if the respiration rate is 30 breaths per minute. If the respiration rate is brought down to 15 cycles per minute, guess how many days he will live? The person will obviously live for 2 days instead of only for one day. And if the cycles are increased to 60 breaths per minute, then what will happen? The person will live only for a half day. So this is the principle. So the slower we breathe, the longer we live, because um, the number of breath cycles that we consume are less. Only few breath cycles are being consumed. That is how the lifespan gets prolonged. So, as the breathing becomes slower, the longevity increases. This is the law of inverse proportion. If the breathing becomes rapid, longevity decreases. As a matter of fact, sea turtles, which live for around 300 years, has a respiration rate of 5 breath cycles per minute. This is the law which all yogis use to keep their physical bodies for prolonged periods of time, even without food and water. So, this is the principle that we need to understand. So, if we want to live for the full length of our lifespan, what is very important is we need to breathe as slowly as possible. But unfortunately, during these modern days, because of the stress that we encounter in the work environment or in the domestic life, we undergo a lot of stress, like we get angry, we get stressful. As a result of these things, our pace of breathing also increases. Just notice, when you become angry, what would be the pace of your breathing? You tend to breathe very hard, very fast. When you're running, you also breathe very fast. So, any activity which is actually giving you or rather making you consume more breath cycles should be avoided. So, there are some techniques which can be learned and practiced in order to slow down your normal breathing process. Currently, most of us we breathe around 30 cycles per minute. So this is not a desired thing. At this rate, our lifespan would be around 70 to 80. So the desired level is we should bring it down to less than 10 breath cycles per minute. That is how we can prolong. So by practicing these two techniques, the first one is keeping the entropic forces at length. We can remain youthful because we are keeping the entropic forces away from us. So the damage that the entropic forces are going to inflict will be postponed. So we will not allow the entropic forces to inflict damage on our physical body. That is how we can remain youthful and live longer. And if we couple this technique with the breathing technique, slow breathing technique, then our lifespan will be prolonged. That is how we can live longer. In my subsequent videos, I will teach the practical techniques how to slow down your normal breathing process. There are few techniques which I would like to explain in the next video. Thank you. If you wish the video, please like and subscribe to our channel for more updates. Thank you for watching the video once again.